Welcome back indeed. We have a very exciting night planned, a variety of subjects, starting with the NHL playoffs. Do you want to start the Western Conference?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start from
Okay.
the top. The number one ranked seeded Colorado Avalanche. They just had a
Mhm.
great season. The President's Trophy, best record during the regular season. Nathan McKinnon, Marty Necas, Cale Makar. They've got a squad. Heavy favorites for the Stanley Cup, as we know. They're taking on the Los Angeles Kings in round one. Game one is Sunday afternoon. I'm taking Colorado in this first round in 5 games. LA, it's hard to discount them. They've got some good young players and Anze Kopitar, his final season. It would be nice to see the Kings win for him, but Colorado's firepower is just too much. I've got the Avs in five over the Kings. How about you?
Yeah, I'm actually going to match that pick. However, I'm going to say the series last 6 games. I'm going to go Avalanche in six.
Okay. The next matchup, we've got the Stars and Wild. The Stars finished second place to Colorado in the division. Minnesota finished third place. Stars are the heavy favorites here over the Wild. Again, the Wild have to prove it, get out of the first round for a change before anyone's going to jump on their bandwagon for real. But they've got a squad this year trading for Quinn Hughes, Brock Faber, Matt Boldy, U.S. Gold Olympians, all with Minnesota. They've got Kaprizov. They've got starting a rookie goaltender, Jesper Wallstat, the Wall of St. Paul, they call him. I like their chances. I think they're going to surprise people this season. I think they're going to go pretty far. I'm taking the Wild in six over Dallas. Dallas has a great team, don't get me wrong. But Dallas hasn't really, done much in the playoffs either. It could just as easily go Minnesota's way. I think their team is built better for the playoffs. They've got the Foligno brothers in the bottom six, Yakov Trenin, hits leader in the NHL, over 300 hits this year. I think their defense is I think their defense is better than Dallas. Spurgeon and Brodeen, Hughes and Faber. I just like the Wild, and I think this is their year finally. I've got the Wild in six.
I also have the Wild in six. I have that written down right here, so I'm not copying you.
So the third series in the West, we've got Vegas, the Vegas Golden Knights over the Utah Mammoth. Utah making the playoffs for the first time in their young existence. They, transferred from Phoenix, Arizona, the Coyotes. Now they're the Utah Mammoth. I'm happy for this team. I love their team. They've got a squad built for years to come, led by Clayton Keller, Jack McBain, Logan Cooley. Up and down their lineup, Mikhail Sergachev on the blue line. I like their team a lot. They're facing a veteran squad in Vegas, Stanley Cup winners in Vegas. They played horrible hockey this year up until about the last 2 weeks. They fired their coach, they hired John Tortorella, and that finally turns them around. I think they went on like a 5, 6 game winning streak to close out the season. They're playing their best hockey finally all year, but it took them long enough to get there. I think the series is a toss up. I am going to take Vegas in seven over Utah.
I'm also going Vegas, but I'm going five. I'm going a gentleman's sweep. I think they drop a game, but for the most part, I'm predicting a pretty dominant performance here against the Mammoth.
Okay. Vegas in five, Vegas in seven. Lastly, out west, we have the Anaheim Ducks and the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton, Connor McDavid, best player in the league, has led the Edmonton Oilers to the Stanley Cup the Stanley Cup final the past 2 seasons, and Edmonton has come up short both years against Florida. Florida's not in it this year. They missed the playoffs entirely. Is this the year that they finally get over the hump? We'll see, but they're going to have a challenge on their hands with Anaheim. Anaheim's another young team up and coming, but they've sprinkled in some veterans throughout the last 2 years in hopes of, guiding this young squad that they have out there. Would not surprise me in the slightest if Anaheim takes this one in a 6 or 7 game series, but I am going to stick with the Oilers. I just think if the Oilers were to bow out in the first round, even the second round, there's going to be major changes to the team all around. So let's go Edmonton in six.
You know what? Ever since the Ducks got rid of Gordon Bombay, those of you just watching, I'm obviously trolling. I'm obviously joking. I'm actually going Ducks, though. I'm going Ducks in seven. I just think that this is going to be the most competitive series in the Western Conference for the first round. And even though the Ducks may be considered the underdogs, I think they're going to make it very interesting. I think they're going to push it all the way to game seven and ultimately walk away with a victory. I'm going Ducks in seven.
I like it. Ducks and seven gives us a change here because we picked, Avs, Wild, Knights. Only difference here is Ducks over the Oilers. So I like it. It could happen for sure. Let's go back out east. Let's start with Buffalo, who got the number one seed in their division. They're taking on the Boston Bruins. I like this Buffalo team a lot. They've one of the biggest defenses in the league. All six of their starting D are over 6'1" or 6'2", if I'm not mistaken. A young defensive core that should grow together for the next half a decade at least. If they're smart, I would keep them together. And, they fired their general manager midway through the year when it looked like they were going to miss the playoffs for the 16th year in a row. They fired their GM. They don't make any trades of significance. And this team that they had just starts going on an absolute tear. The best record in hockey since December. And look at them now. They're opening Sunday night against Boston. Boston's always a tough out in the playoffs. The Bruins, led by David Pastrnak, Charlie McAvoy, Jeremy Swayman. I think the difference in this series could come down to goaltending. I like Swayman over Buffalo's goalies. So if it comes down to it, I got to go with Swayman and the Bruins, but I just can't jump off the Buffalo bandwagon so soon. I'm going to take Buffalo in round one in 6 games over Boston. If it's going to go Boston's way, it's going to be because of Jeremy Swayman, though. I'll say that.
Boston in six.
Boston in six? Okay.
Boston in six.
I like it. Next, we have Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Montreal Canadiens. Again, Tampa Bay. They haven't made it past the first round the last 2 years. They've got a veteran team where if they don't get past Montreal in the first round or even get through the second round this year, there could be some more big changes in Tampa with that veteran team. John Cooper, the coach, he's had a heck of a run in Tampa, but they don't have an easy path to the Stanley Cup right in round one, facing a hungry Montreal Canadiens team, super young, another team that's going to be together for the next decade, led by Cole Caulfield, Yurov, Slavkovsky, Josh Anderson, big body third liner, Josh Anderson, Ivan Demidov, Lane Hudson. They just have a great team. Nick Suzuki. I like this Montreal team a lot. I'm gonna go Montreal in a shocker and an upset. I can't really say shocker. Montreal in an upset, 6 games over Tampa Bay. They also start their series off on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to disagree, though. I'm going Tampa Bay in six. I do think it's going to be a very competitive, hard-hitting series, but Tampa's got my vote.
All right, Tampa for Justin. Next, let's go Battle of Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
Big one here. Philly and Pittsburgh, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang in what could be their final run as a trio in Pittsburgh. Evgeny Malkin, rumors of retirement in the summer, taking on this young Rick Tocchet coached team in Philadelphia. Philadelphia has got this kid, Porter Martone, who's 10 points in his first 9 games in the NHL. I would not be surprised in the slightest if Philly takes this one in seven. That would be my initial guess. If Philly takes it, it's probably going to be in seven, I would say. But I just got to still go with Pittsburgh, Crosby, Malkin, Letang. Those guys have been together forever, and there's just no way that they're not going to be playing their hearts and souls out for one another. I like Pittsburgh in six. It's been a great run for the Flyers this year to get back into the playoffs. They've got a team built for the future, but I think that inexperience against a veteran heavy team in Pittsburgh here this time gets the best of them. Pittsburgh in six.
Yeah, we've seen Pittsburgh do it way too often. Like you said, this very well may be their last go at it. I think Philadelphia comes out swinging, though. I think it's going to be a battle. I wouldn't be surprised if they take game one, but as far as the series goes, I'm going Pittsburgh in six.
Pitt in six. And then finally, we've got Carolina and Ottawa. Carolina, another team coached by a former Flyer, Rod Brendamore. Man, this team has been right there for the last 5 or 6 years. I feel like they just can never get over the hump in the postseason. I think this year could be the year for Carolina out east. In all honesty, I mean, Florida, their biggest nemesis, and fierce competitor there. They've never been able to figure them out. Florida's not in it. That leads me to believe that it's Carolina's conference to lose This has got to be their year. I'm taking Carolina in the first round handily over Ottawa in 5 games.
Propane, Sugarcane, Undertaker, and Kane. Hurricanes in 5.
I like it.
Going the Hurricanes. And a little off subject here. Anytime I hear the word hurricane, I think of the Hurricane from WWE, baby. Good old ruthless aggression era, early 2000s. You remember the battles he had with Kane? And then that amazing storyline he had with Hollywood Rock when Rock was the heel and they had that Stone Cold WrestleMania run. I don't know.
Yeah,
I know I'm just rambling, but anytime I think of the Hurricanes, I always think of WWE's Hurricane, but I'm going Hurricanes in 5 here.
I like it. Hurricanes in 5. I do remember the Hurricane from WWE. You remember that match? It was, I think it was when Triple H and Stone Cold were a tag team, and Hurricane jumped in the ring and was gonna try to choke slam them both at the same time.
Yeah, that was actually the Royal Rumble
Okay,
of
okay.
2002. He somehow made it in the bottom 3, I believe, with
Really?
Triple H and Stone Cold, and his signature maneuver was a choke slam, which is hysterical because he was a cruiserweight. And
Yeah.
yeah, he grabbed Triple H, grabbed Stone Cold, and like had him yoked up the way like Kane would. And at first, both Triple H and Stone Cold are like, like struggling, like, ah. And then they just stop and like look at each
Look at
other,
each
like,
other and
this is the fucking hurricane. And they just like threw him over the top
they,
rope.
yeah, they just toss them out like a rag doll. That's great.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it'll be a fun little couple weeks here in the playoffs. Looking forward to seeing it. We'll revisit these picks when round one is completely over. Continue off with round two.
Let's definitely pay attention to it. Obviously, best of 7, so some of these series may stretch on some time. Some of them may be over here in a couple days, not a couple, a few days, but definitely will be something fun for us to continue to engage over the next couple months for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well,
To me, there's just nothing quite like playoff hockey. So I'm really excited.